Commander Alex Frost had 3 rules in life. Never trust a politician, never eat seafood from a gas station, and never, ever believe it when a mission is described as routine. Yet here he was, crouched in the biting Arctic wind, staring at base Theta through tactical binoculars while his superiors back at HQ insisted this was, you guessed it, routine. Thermal shows minimal activity, said Nash, the team's tech specialist. A woman of few words but impressive hacking abilities. She tapped away at her portable console with gloved fingers. Security systems look standard. Almost too standard. When has anything ever been standard with us? Frost muttered. Rivera, the team's weapons expert, chuckled while checking his rifle for the 3rd time. Remember Buenos Aires? That was supposed to be in and out in 20 minutes. We were there for 3 days. Cooper, their medic, chimed in. I still can't eat empanadas without getting flashbacks. Frost sighed. All right, listen up. Our mission is to extract Dr. Eliza Winters, who apparently has enough classified information about some biotech program to make our superiors very nervous. We go in through the maintenance shaft, proceed to the research wing, grab the doctor, and exfil through the emergency tunnel. Questions? Yeah. Rivera adjusted his tactical vest. Why does a legitimate research station need an emergency tunnel? Polar bears, Cooper offered with a straight face. Comms check, Frost said, ignoring them both. Each team member confirmed their equipment was functioning. Nash, you're on point for the security system. Nash nodded, her expression serious behind her balaclava. Already spoofed their perimeter alerts. They think we're a weather anomaly. Wouldn't be the first time someone's called me that, Cooper quipped. The team moved silently across the snow, their white tactical gear blending perfectly with the landscape. Base Theta loomed ahead, a collection of interconnected buildings half buried in snow and ice, illuminated only by minimal exterior lighting. For an active research facility, it looked suspiciously quiet. The maintenance shaft entry was exactly where their intel indicated. Too exactly, Frost thought. The lock system yielded to Nash's electronic skeleton key in seconds. Either they have terrible security, or someone wants us inside, she whispered. Optimistic as always, Rivera replied, but his hand tightened on his weapon. The corridors were eerily silent. No researchers hunched over computers, no security personnel making rounds. Just empty hallways with occasional blinking equipment. Where is everyone? Cooper asked, voicing what they were all thinking. Frost consulted his wrist-mounted display. Doctor's quarters should be 2 levels down, east wing. They descended via the emergency stairwell rather than risk the elevators. Each floor they passed showed the same abandonment. Workstations powered on but unmanned, half-empty coffee cups, chairs pushed back as if their occupants had left in a hurry. I'm getting Santiago vibes, Rivera muttered. Cooper winced. We don't talk about Santiago. They reached the residential level and followed the signs to the guest quarters. Dr. Winters' room was labeled with her name, another detail that seemed too convenient. Frost gave the signal and Rivera positioned himself to breach the door while Nash worked her electronic magic. The lock clicked and they surged in, weapons ready. Dr. Eliza Winters sat calmly on the edge of her bed as if she'd been expecting them. Mid-40s, sharp features, and eyes that looked far too calm for someone supposedly in danger. Commander Frost, she said, standing. You're 13 minutes behind schedule. Frost kept his weapon raised. How do you know my name? The same way I know you were coming to extract me. She smiled thinly. I was told to expect you. Something was very wrong. Frost's instincts screamed danger. Cooper, check her. The medic approached cautiously, scanner in hand. No obvious signs of duress, but her heart rate is elevated. That's because I'm excited, Dr. Winters said. It's not every day you get to witness something revolutionary. We need to move, Frost decided, not liking any of this. Nash, what's our exfil route looking like? Nash frowned at her tablet. That's weird. The emergency tunnel that wasn't on the original schematics? Now it's showing up on the base blueprints. Clear as day. Almost like someone updated the files knowing we'd look, Rivera growled. A slow clapping sound echoed from the hallway. Frost spun, weapon raised, as a man in black tactical gear leaned against the doorframe, applauding lazily. Very good, the man said. You're sharper than the last team they sent. Last team? Cooper whispered. More armed personnel appeared behind the man, weapons trained on Frost's team. Welcome to Obsidian Security, the man continued. I'm Field Director Stone. Dr. Winters has been most helpful in ensuring your arrival. Dr. Winters stepped forward. Nothing personal, Commander. But Project Chimera needs live subjects with your particular training. The lights suddenly flashed red and alarms blared throughout the facility. Now! Frost shouted. Rivera hurled a flashbang grenade as the team dropped to the floor. In the ensuing chaos, Nash fired her specialized EMP darts, shorting out the hallway lights. Cooper grabbed Dr. Winters, who struggled against his grip. Move, move, move. Frost ordered as they retreated down the corridor, bullets pinging off the walls behind them. We need to get to the server room, Dr. Winters suddenly shouted above the gunfire. I can prove what they're doing here. Why should we trust you? Frost demanded, ducking around a corner as Rivera provided covering fire. Because I just realized I'm as expendable as you are, she replied, her composed facade cracking. And I know the way out through the research wing. With Obsidian security forces closing in from multiple directions, Frost made a split-second decision. Lead the way, Doctor. But if this is another trap, I'll let Rivera use you for target practice. His aim isn't great, Cooper added helpfully. Not helping, Cooper, Rivera grunted as they ran deeper into the facility, the sounds of pursuit echoing behind them. The abandoned research wing of Base Theta looked like its occupants had left mid-experiment. Centrifuges still spun, computers ran simulations, and specimen containers lined the walls, some empty, some not. What the hell were they doing here? Frost asked as Nash secured the doors behind them. Dr. Winters moved to a terminal and began typing rapidly. Project Chimera started as legitimate research into extreme climate survival adaptations. Then Obsidian Security took over the funding and things evolved. Evolved how exactly? Cooper asked, examining a vial of something unpleasantly fluorescent. They wanted to create soldiers who could operate in extreme environments without protective gear, Dr. Winters explained. Imagine troops who could survive Arctic conditions wearing nothing but standard uniforms. Sounds toasty, Rivera commented, keeping his weapon trained on the door. Dr. Winters pulled up files on the monitor. It worked too well. The test subjects began developing other adaptations: enhanced strength, aggression, decreased need for oxygen. But with side effects. The screen filled with medical reports and images that made even Cooper, their battle-hardened medic, look away. They're using their own security personnel as guinea pigs, Dr. Winters continued. The ones who survive become part of their enhanced forces. The rest? She gestured at a door marked biological waste. And let me guess, Frost said, they needed fresh subjects with elite training. Like an extraction team sent to rescue a defector. Bingo, Dr. Winters confirmed. I was supposed to keep you here until they could secure you for processing. But I've seen enough. I was brought here to perfect the formula, not create monsters. Nash, who had been unusually quiet, spoke up. Command knew, didn't they? They sent us here deliberately. Dr. Winters nodded slowly. Black Ops teams are perfect, highly trained, physically superior, and completely deniable if things go wrong. I always knew Colonel Phillips was a jerk, but this is extreme even for him, Cooper muttered. A distant explosion rocked the facility. Alarms changed tone. They're initiating containment protocols, Dr. Winters warned. In 15 minutes, this entire section will be flooded with decontamination gas. Decontamination, Rivera repeated skeptically. It dissolves organic matter, she clarified. Of course it does, Cooper sighed. Frost looked at Nash. Can you download everything? Nash was already connecting her device to the terminal. On it. But we'll need a distraction to reach the vehicle bay. I know where they keep the prototypes, Dr. Winters offered. The enhanced soldiers. If we release them, you want to unleash experimental super soldiers? Frost asked incredulously. Not my first choice for a Tuesday, Rivera commented. But I'm warming to the idea. They don't distinguish between targets, Dr. Winters explained. They'll attack anyone not injected with the control pheromone. Let me guess, Frost said. You have access to this pheromone? Dr. Winters produced a small vial from her lab coat. Just enough for us. 10 minutes later, they were making their way through ventilation shafts, the sounds of chaos echoing throughout the facility. Gunfire, screams, and inhuman roars created a nightmarish soundtrack. Remember when our biggest problem was paperwork? Cooper whispered. I never did the paperwork, Rivera replied. They emerged near the vehicle bay, only to find Director Stone waiting with a squad of security personnel who looked different, broader, paler. with veins that pulsed an unnatural blue beneath their skin. Impressive, Stone said, slow clapping again. You've cost me millions in research and several promising specimens. But you've also proven the viability of the project. By releasing your monsters? Frost asked, buying time as Nash worked to unlock the bay doors behind them. By surviving this long, Stone corrected. Most teams don't make it past the initial ambush. You'll make excellent additions to the program. Hard pass, Rivera said. I look terrible in blue veins. Stone smiled coldly. It wasn't an invitation. The enhanced soldiers moved with unnatural speed, but Rivera was faster, throwing their last 2 grenades in perfect arcs. The explosions didn't seem to harm the soldiers much, but the vehicles behind them created a much more satisfying secondary explosion. In the chaos, Nash got the bay doors open. Cooper shoved Dr. Winters through while Frost and Rivera provided covering fire. Your own government sold you out, Stone shouted over the gunfire. You have nowhere to go. We'll improvise, Frost called back, diving through the door as Nash sealed it behind them. The snowcat in the bay had enough fuel to get them to the extraction point, but Frost had no intention of walking into another trap. Nash, can you reach our original transport pilot? He asked as they piled into the vehicle. Already did, she replied, her usual stoicism cracking into a small smile. Turns out Benson dislikes being part of government conspiracies even more than he dislikes changing his flight plans. As they crashed through the bay doors into the Arctic night, the facility behind them continued to erupt with explosions. So, Cooper said conversationally as Rivera navigated the snowcat across the ice. Anyone else thinking about early retirement? With what we know? Dr. Winters looked back at the burning facility. They'll never stop hunting us. Then we make sure everyone knows, Frost decided, holding up Nash's device containing the downloaded files. Every news outlet, every allied intelligence agency. Going rogue against a shadow government organization with enhanced super soldiers, Rivera mused. Not how I expected this week to go. Could be worse, Nash offered. How exactly? Cooper asked. Nash shrugged. Could be sharks. As the snowcat disappeared into the Arctic night, base Theta continued to burn behind them, a beacon in the darkness that would soon light up a much bigger conspiracy, assuming they lived long enough to tell the tale. Frost looked at his unlikely team, a sarcastic medic, a laconic tech specialist, a trigger-happy weapons expert, and a remorseful scientist, and decided that maybe, just maybe, they had a chance. Anyone know how to disappear? He asked. Rivera grinned. Funny you should ask. I have a contact in Fiji. Fiji sounds nice, Cooper agreed. Do they have polar bears? No, Frost said, unable to suppress a tired smile. No polar bears.